Raining cats and dogs. Let's get into number 9. Raining cats and dogs. One common explanation for this phrase takes us back to Old Norse mythology. Back then, storms were viewed as intense and supernatural events. It was believed that Odin, the god of storms, rode across the sky during them, accompanied by his loyal hounds or wolves. At the same time, witches also said to ride storms were often pictured with cats as companions. So when a fierce storm struck, people may have imagined the sky filled with these animals' wild energy. But there's a darker and more grounded theory too. In medieval towns, streets were filthy, and drainage was basically non-existent. When heavy rain poured down, it flooded the roads, washing away anything in its path, including dead stray animals. These unlucky creatures sometimes ended up stuck in gutters, or even on rooftops. So from upper windows, or after the water receded, it may have looked like cats and dogs had fallen from above. Another idea links the phrase to Old English, where the word catadup meant a waterfall or driving rain. Some believe that centuries ago, people misheard it, and that's how we got raining cats and dogs. Number 8. Mad as a hatter. Back in the 1800s, hat makers, also known as hatters, used mercury to stiffen felt for stylish hats. The problem? That mercury would vaporize in their stuffy, poorly ventilated workshops, and they'd end up breathing it in all day. Mercury isn't just unhealthy, it's like poison for your brain. Over time, these hatters began to show disturbing symptoms: uncontrollable tremors, slurred speech, and bizarre behavior. Imagine trying to chat with someone whose hands are shaking like they downed a dozen espressos. Their words would come out garbled like they were trying to rap underwater. But the worst part was how it affected their minds. Mood swings hit hard one minute painfully shy, the next flying into a rage over absolutely nothing. Their memory began to crumble too. They'd forget where they left tools, or even what day it was. People started noticing just how strange hat makers were acting. That's where the phrase mad as a hatter came from, used to describe someone acting eccentric or flat-out weird. The madness was so well known, it even inspired the quirky character in Alice in Wonderland. And this went on for years before anyone realized Mercury was the villain. Thankfully, hat making today doesn't require destroying anyone's sanity. Number 7. Cat got your tongue? One explanation for this phrase goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. There, cats weren't just pets, they were practically divine, worshipped as sacred beings on 4 legs. Some historians believe that people who committed serious crimes, especially lying, were punished by having their tongues cut out. Brutal, right? Another theory comes from the English Navy in the 17th and 18th centuries. Sailors dreaded the cat o' nine tails, a vicious whip with several knotted cords. Getting lashed with it was so painful, it often left the victim speechless. So if someone suddenly went quiet, others might ask, "Did the cat get your tongue?" And then there's the eerie medieval legend involving witches and their black cat familiars. People believed witches could use their cats to steal someone's tongue, maybe, to silence them from revealing magical secrets. Imagine a cat collecting tongues like trophies. Today, we say cat got your tongue as a playful way to ask why someone's so quiet. But next time you hear it, remember it may have started with stories far darker than a shy moment at the dinner table. Blood thicker than water. Number 6. Blood is thicker than water. We all know this phrase as a way to say family comes first. But here's the twist. The original saying actually meant the exact opposite. The full version was, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb." Back in medieval times and even earlier, warriors and comrades would seal serious pacts with blood rituals. Think of it like an extreme version of a pinky promise, sometimes involving actual blood mixing. That's the blood of the covenant part. It symbolized chosen bonds, deep, unbreakable loyalty formed by choice. Meanwhile, water of the womb refers to family, those you're born into. So originally, this phrase meant that chosen relationships, like those with close friends or fellow soldiers, were stronger than blood ties. You don't get to choose your relatives, but you do choose your true allies. Somewhere down the line, though, people started shortening the phrase, and like a long game of telephone, its meaning got flipped completely. So next time someone tries to use this phrase on you, you can drop this knowledge bomb on them. Number 5. Saved by the Bell. A lot of people think this phrase comes from a chilling tale about people being buried alive, with a little bell attached inside their coffin so they could ring it if they woke up. Creepy? Yes. Accurate? Not really. The true origin actually comes from boxing in the late 1800s. Picture this. You're a boxer in the ring, getting absolutely hammered. Your opponent is working your face like it's a speed bag, and you're seconds from hitting the mat. Then ding. The bell rings. The round ends. You just got saved by the bell. Literally. The phrase caught on fast because this kind of moment happened all the time. A dazed fighter, wobbling and seeing stars, gets rescued by the bell just in time for a break. It's a little disappointing, isn't it? Like finding out your cool uncle who said he was a secret agent actually works at the post office. The burial bell. Story probably gained traction because people back then were genuinely terrified of being buried alive. What is weird is that even though the burial bell story is made up for this phrase, they actually did make safety coffins with bells and other alert systems. Head over heels. Number 4. Head over heels. Think about this weird saying we throw around all the time. Head over heels, isn't your head already over your heels? That's literally just called standing. It's like saying, I'm so in love, my eyes are above my mouth. Okay, and? The funny part is, this phrase actually made a lot more sense back in the 1300s. People would say heels over head. Now that paints a clear picture. Imagine someone doing a cartwheel or tumbling. There's a moment when their heels are actually above their head. That makes total sense for describing someone who's flipped upside down, emotionally or physically. But somewhere along the way, people started saying it backwards. And instead of correcting it, everyone just went with it. It's like if we started saying as dry as water and just accepted that as normal. So now, we're stuck with a phrase that's supposed to describe being wildly in love but actually just describes the most average body position possible. Oh my gosh. I'm so in love, me head is exactly where it's supposed to be. Next time you hear someone say they're head over heels in love, just remember they're technically describing someone who's just standing there, doing nothing special at all, but with feelings. Number 3. Blind as a bat. Bats. People love to say blind as a bat when someone can't see well, but that's about as accurate as saying slow as a cheetah. In reality, bats have pretty amazing eyesight, especially in low light. Most bats can actually see about 3 times better than humans at dawn and dusk. It's like they've got built-in night vision goggles. And that's just the beginning. Bats are basically running a double superhero setup. Not only can they see surprisingly well, but they also have this insane skill called echolocation. They shoot out super high-pitched sounds that bounce off objects around them. When those sound waves come back, the bat knows exactly where everything is down to crazy small details. It's so precise that bats can detect something as tiny as a single human hair. In total darkness, imagine having a superpower where you scream at stuff and instantly build a 3D map of your surroundings. Yeah, bats do that. The whole blind as a bat thing probably started because people saw them darting around like maniacs at night and figured, whoa, they must be blind. Nope. They're just navigating like tiny flying detectives with sonar and night vision combined. Number 2. Spilling the beans. Beans. Back in ancient Greece, they didn't have slick voting machines or tidy paper ballots. Nope, they used something way simpler. Beans. A white bean usually meant yes. A black bean meant no. People would drop their bean into a big jar, and that's how some pretty major decisions were made. Now picture this. Someone trips and knocks over the jar before the votes are officially counted. Suddenly, all those secret choices are out in the open, scattered across the floor for everyone to see. It's like accidentally leaking your private DMs into the group chattingly with way more ancient drama. That little slip-up, revealing secret info too soon, is believed to be the origin of the phrase. These days, we say, don't spill the beans, when we're talking about birthday surprises, juicy gossip, or someone's top-secret crush. But somehow, this odd phrase from old-school voting chaos managed to stick around. So next time someone tells you they spilled the beans, just be glad they didn't accidentally ruin a whole Greek election. Bob's your uncle. Number 1. Bob's your uncle. Back in 1887, something pretty wild happened in British politics. The Prime Minister, Robert Gascoigne Cecil, better known as Bob, made a move that raised a lot of eyebrows. He gave his nephew, Arthur Balfour, a fancy new job, Chief Secretary for Ireland. The catch? Arthur wasn't exactly famous for being super qualified. It would be like if your uncle ran a huge company and suddenly promoted you to senior executive just because you once made a decent bowl of instant noodles. Naturally, the British public wasn't thrilled. They saw it for what it was. Good old-fashioned nepotism. People started saying Bob's your uncle as a sarcastic jab, kind of like, well, that was easy, if you've got connections. It hinted that with someone like Uncle Bob in your corner, the results were already decided. But over time, the phrase lost its sting. These days, it just means something like, there you go, or simple as that. The funny twist? This phrase didn't even show up in print until around 1937, almost 50 years after the original scandal. That's it for today. I'll be making more videos like this soon, so subscribe if you want to catch them.